Hello everybody. I wanted to do a Shane Dawson intro and then like my mind went blank. But if you haven't read the title, this is creepy soap cutting. But I did want to show you, I made the Sorcerer's Stone out of soap and clear coat nail polish. Get out of here. I actually I'm going to be bringing up my notes app because I put the notes in here. Okay, girl?
Do you want to play like spooky music?
What is spooky music though? Like, I don't want to like...
I look up Halloween sounds.
Okay. Alrighty, and as you can see with my soaps, I painted 3 of them because I wanted to try the texture, and I got these things, and the scent is gold.
It smells bad.
She says it smells bad. I think it smells good. It looks like mango mustard. And we got this tool. And we got these tools, and I might try both, but like most likely not. Alright, so the first thing, and I'll try to put up a picture because this is going to be an edited video. I know you guys are shook. You're like, when was the last time she did that? Never. Aside from the time that we had to jump cut because we had Louie in the shot and it wasn't good.
You didn't even do that. I did that.
Yeah, she did that. I'm going to be doing this one because I am inserting my own 2 pictures. 1, so that you guys can create your own opinion, and 2, so that you can see what I'm trying to see. So, I'll show that real quick right now. This is the picture, and this is the hand and forearm that I can see on my bedroom floor. And in case you didn't know, yeah, can you guys not see that? Like here a forearm and then there a hand, and if not, I did like this beautiful outline work. And
you're reaching.
I'm gonna insert the pictures in the actual video, but that is the first thing that I wanted to tell you guys about because they say I'm reaching, but I feel like as soon as I see it, you know? So, getting into the soap cutting, I'm gonna set aside the extra thoughts because we only need to do one at a time. We're not having soap orgy right now.
Which one?
So, I'm kind of gonna start out easy, and then we're gonna go a little bit more rapid. Mind you, one of these is my mom's story. She obviously didn't want to be on our channel because she doesn't like me, but I like it. But I wanted to tell you guys about it because it seems like a shook-worthy video. Alright, okay, but the first one is not quite a story, but just an occurrence that happens. An occurrence that I noticed, and until we moved the desk chairs to our filming location, this happened every time. So basically the desk chairs that we used to film in, there's a blue one that has a shitty texture to it. I hate sitting in it and it's really uncomfortable. Would sit over in like the carpet area of our basement that's like at the bottom of the steps, and we'd put it in the position to where it like be like facing away from the steps, but every time I'd come back downstairs it would be facing the steps or like moved off of the carpet. So that's like, could be paranormal, could be the rumbling of the house from my fat dogs running around, but that's just like a side thing. Like I said, we're starting with like the easy kind of stupid stuff. Another one that's not a story is that we randomly hear footsteps in the house, especially when we're up late at night, because especially with me being out of school, we can stay up until 5 in the morning. So we'll randomly hear like, oh, footsteps, what have you, and you know, usually we're like, oh, what was that? And then we get over it because it's kind of like something that we're used to by now, obviously. And other things, like, we don't hear too much, but there have been like a couple times where like I've been in the kitchen and I hear someone call for me, and then I ask if like someone needed me, and they're like, we weren't talking to you, ho. And so it's kind of creepy, kind of weird, but that's not some of the things that like bother me that bad. I have a golden retriever called Sam. This is the next little thing. And he just turned a year old. And Sam, he is the sweetest dog ever, of course, but he's also afraid of his own shadow. And y'all can take this as you will. I'm just gonna tell you the stories. You can take it how you want it. But Sam, when we're staying up late at night, a lot of times, or like, I think it's quite often, he'll do this weird thing where like he gets up all of a sudden, whether he's in like a dead ass sleep or just like laying on the floor, he gets up all of a sudden and like goes to our kitchen and like starts barking and growling. And honestly, I don't know what he's like so bent up about. You can describe it better because he likes you more.
What part do you want me to describe?
Because like afterwards, he usually runs to her, or like if she goes into the kitchen type thing.
Oh, he's like trembling and he's looking at me like, what's wrong? What's wrong? Like he wants me to make it better. I don't know. It's really sad.
Yeah, Sam it's like weird. But like if we go into the kitchen when he's freaking out like that, he sticks to our side and like is like barking or like just acting weird. Like he's trying to protect us from something. I don't know what he's seeing. Every time we tell my mom about it, she's like, oh, he's seeing Ben, which Ben was our last golden retriever. But I guess like I pick up on vibes well, and I just don't feel like Ben would give me a bad vibe. So I'm like, I don't think that's what he's seeing, but you know, you never know. I don't see what he sees. Because usually by the time we go in there, you know, he probably scared it away. I don't know. But yeah, that's just kind of something he does. And even once in the daytime, like probably around 11 in the morning, he started doing that, like barking and then acting weird. And he went to her really upset and scared. And I have a clip of it, but like I don't really want to show you guys my house. So sorry about that, but it's kind of hard to tell what's going on anyway. And there's this other time that he was sitting like in front of our couch. We have like a sectional, so it's shaped like an L type thing, and he was sitting like leaned up against it, and he was like looking around like the ceiling and like the corners of the room. And I took a video of it, and like the video changes colors. It's like from orange to blue. And I'm like, I don't even know what the hell I'm supposed to make out of that. Like, what? So that's the stories involving Sam. Noah, our fat corgi, he doesn't react to this stuff, so I just don't know. The next thing, I love these noises.
I looked up scary howling sounds.
I like it. One time we were laying down for bed. I'll have my notes over here. And in the darkness, I saw like this like hand like kind of come towards my face. And I lifted my hand. I didn't think anything of it. And I like lifted my hand and like went to like swat it away. And I didn't feel anything. And it went away. And then like not even like a minute later, Moon, that one over there, said she saw like a face like hover above me, and I didn't see it, but I also wasn't looking like directly above me because I was on my side. Describe it.
Oh my god, I can't even, it's so scary like to even think about. It was just like the face, and then you could kind of see where it went down, but it was all black there, but like kind of faded, I guess. But the face itself was like very, very white, like inhumanly white. And it looked like it had, I wouldn't even say sunken in eyes. Like it looked like this darkness like around its eyes, but you could see where there was like pitch black eyes in there. This isn't making a lot of sense. And where its mouth was supposed to be was all like black. I don't know, it was like somewhat human looking, but it wasn't human looking. It was very scary. I didn't like it.
Also, I'd like to say that every time like we come to my mom with these things and ask her to sage our house, because A, she has a bottle of fucking holy water, and B, we get her white sage for a reason, she doesn't do it, and she acts like we're stupid. And I'm just like, Mother, she saw a face above my body! Like, why isn't that alarming? That would be alarming. I would probably die if I saw it. We were really freaked out, and I don't know why, because normally if we hear things like in the kitchen, we go to bed, or if we hear things in our room, we like go to another room for a while, but we just went to sleep. Like, what were we thinking? Why would we go to sleep after seeing an inhuman being try to grab my face and then like hover above me? Like, am I having like a demon follow me? Doubt it.
I mean, we got up and we were like upset, and then we laid back down.
It was just so funny to me. It's so weird, but the next thing I have written down, okay. Let me try to get this to where I can see it and cut. So, one time a cousin of ours slept over, and he slept in my room at the time, and he saw like a face in the window, and he was like really freaked out and wouldn't sleep in my room the rest of the night. He slept on our couch, but
that's a constant thing, where Jelly used to have her own room, and like she still has it, but she doesn't like to sleep in there, and nobody likes to sleep in there. We've had guests throughout our entire lives that have tried to sleep in there, even without any predisposed knowledge or whatever, and no one is ever comfortable. It's impossible to be comfortable in there. It just gives you the most weird, dreadful, you're being watched feeling. I don't know how to describe it.
Like, okay, just some stories of my room is like growing up, every single night I would cry and have to sleep in the living room, and I honestly can't remember like most of the reason I was scared. I just remember being scared and not wanting to be in there. And if I stayed up like playing on my Game Boy Advanced, my mom would get mad at me, but I was scared and I didn't want to be in there. And it was so weird. Like, our friend Hunter slept in there one time, and he even said he was just like, I slept with the light on all night. And like, yeah, he's kind of like a baby, but I'm just kidding. But he slept with the light on in there, and my cousin that slept in there saw the face, and then he wouldn't sleep in there the rest of the night. But like, you might think, oh, well, maybe it was someone went to the window, whatever. But it's like too high up to comfortably stand there and look in without like a ladder. And not to mention, the window is facing like our backyard, and we have like a privacy fence. And so it's just kind of weird. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me how a face would have been there. And like, other things are just like, I used to have very terrible nightmares or like random fears when I slept in there. And since I've stopped using like that room as like my bedroom / sleeping area, I don't dream hardly ever. That room is just so weird. And like, I still have my stuff in there, and I have like little figurines and what have you, and nothing in there moves, but I had these like 2 little porcelain bunnies that every single time I'd come in there, they'd be facing the wall, and it was just like, it made no sense to me. And those were the only things in my room that would move. And like, this is a random thing, and it's probably not paranormal, but I used to have this TV, and it had a pink remote, a very distinguishable pink remote with flowers on it, okay? I was a kid, and all of a sudden this thing went missing, and my mom yelled at me for months and years trying to find this thing. And we've cleaned our whole basement out. We've cleaned my whole room out. We've cleaned our whole house out multiple times since this thing went missing, and it's nowhere. Like, absolutely nowhere. And we eventually got rid of the TV because, like, nobody needs it.
Oh my God. That reminded me of like a really scary story. Can I tell the next one?
Yeah, you might have to speak up a little.
Okay, I'm coming closer too. Alright, so, I really like the games Final Fantasy.
Oh God.
So, I have like some figures from it, and one of the ones I have is the, Red 13 one. And he comes with, I call it Cat Scythe. I don't want to say the name wrong and have people read me to filth, but whatever. That's the name I always called it. Little guy that rides on him. And I had that set up in my room. I'm very particular about my things. I'm a Virgo. I like them to be set up, displayed, cared for. I don't like when anybody touches my stuff. So there's absolutely no way that this happened, but the cat that sits on him like disappeared one day.
This was also before we shared a room, so it's not like I went and took it.
Yeah, and so I asked my sister about it, and I looked all over the place. I looked under my bed. I looked places where it wouldn't even make any sense to be because I have like this shelving unit thingy in there, and it was like on one of the higher shelves. So there was nowhere this thing could have gone. And since then, I had cleaned my room multiple times, moved furniture, whatever. And it was gone for years, right? Well, I went into my room. How many years later would you say this was? Like 5? On for 7 years. And I was irritated because, you know, it wasn't all together. And then I walk into my room, and in front of this other bookshelf that I have, it's not in front. On this other bookshelf that I have, it's just sitting on the shelf, just sitting there, the little cat. And I picked it up, and I was like, you know, like, what the fuck? And so I yelled, I was like, thank you for me, I don't know. And so I went into the other room, and she was like, what are you thanking me for? And I was like, did you find this? And I was really, really excited. I was like, oh my gosh, like, I can't believe it. I've not seen this thing in like so long. Where did you find it? And she looked at me, and I know she wasn't lying, okay? I could tell by her expression, and she's a terrible liar.
I was shook. Okay.
She was like, I didn't find that. Where was it? And I told her, I was like, it was on that shelf. And she was like, no, it wasn't me. So basically, I don't know what happened there. I have absolutely no logical explanation behind it. I asked everybody else who lives or lived in the household at the time, and nobody knew where it came from. So it's weird. Not to mention, if it just randomly turned up, why would it have been on a different shelf, just sitting there very neatly, like it was set there? I'm shook. I'm shook thinking about it.
It's so weird. And that's like one of the things is like when I was younger, stuff like that would happen all the time. And like not to the extent of literally 7 years later, but like I had the original DS Lite, okay? And this thing went missing for months. And that was like I was telling you guys, I played my Game Boy Advance at night, and then when I got my DS, I played my DS at night because I was just like, well, it's too fucking scary to be in here.
Nintendogs.
Yeah, I played Nintendogs. I had this Bugs Bunny game for my Game Boy Advanced, and it went missing for months, and I thought someone like had stolen it from me, just because like I had friends over at that time. I would go to friends' houses and take it with me and everything, and like randomly I found it at a tote in the bottom of my closet that was only filled with stuffed animals. So I don't know.
What about stuff that's happened at like other people's houses?
We could tell those too.
No, I'm asking you, do you have any experiences like that?
The only like real thing is just like I used to be best friends with this person, and she was someone that came to my house all the time. I went to her house all the time. It was a constant thing, you know, in our friendship, and I wanted to go to her house so bad because we were friends. But every time I went there, I'd have to go home in the middle of the night. Like, I was just so scared. And I know for a long time, like, my mom, whatever, she just thought that I just didn't want to sleep over at other people's houses, that I didn't like it. But hers was the only house that I reacted that way towards. And I never, like, saw anything, had anything happen. It was just a freaky, weird place, and I don't know, for years it was like that, and it was just like, I shouldn't be afraid of this place that I've been to 1,000 times, and I just was, and I couldn't sleep there. And the time that I did have to sleep there overnight, I stayed up all night because my mom, she was like, well, I'll come get you at like 7 in the morning if you're still awake. And I literally stayed up all night watching, I'm pretty sure it was Phineas and Ferb, and I couldn't sleep. I was too scared. And it's just, I don't know. I don't think I've ever, like, okay, I take that back. In another friend in middle school, I used to go to her house all the time, and I could stay over at her house just fine. But there was this one distinctive time that I woke up before her, and so I was just like chilling, like on my phone, whatever, like doing my own thing, waiting for her to get up because I didn't care. And I literally felt something like grab and pull on my foot, and I pulled it back, and I was like, bitch, what the fuck? And when she woke up, I told her about it, and she was just like, oh, like that happens. And I was just like, you could have warned me. It was just weird. That's like one of the only physical things that ever happened to me. There was only like one other thing where something actually like touched me. So, yeah, it's just kind of weird. Well, yeah. What about you?
Did you tell the other story where something touched you?
That wasn't at someone else's house, so I was gonna wait on it.
Oh, you can tell it now.
Okay, well, there's kind of two. The one was like, this is just like a small one, like, I was home by myself, but I needed to like vacuum and like do whatever. And this was a few years ago. This was probably like my freshman year of high school. And I needed to vacuum, and so I started vacuuming, and like, how my house is like, say this is the living room, and then off like here is like the kitchen, and there's like a little hallway in between the living room and kitchen that's only like 3 feet long, and there's not like a door there, so like you just walk through. But I was on my way to go into the kitchen, and I felt like something shoved my shoulder kind of hard, like enough to where like I jolted forward. And I was home alone, so I was like, obviously they're gonna have to wait to fucking like make me sweep until they get home, because I'm not doing it by myself and getting pushed again. So yeah, that happened. And then this other time, I actually had this one written down. Okay, so this was when my dad still lived here, and it was me, Moon, and my dad, and we were in the basement because it flooded like a little bit for some reason, and they went upstairs because they needed to grab some stuff like from our garage, like where our tools and everything are. And I stayed downstairs because there's like this thing called like a shop vac that like it has like a hose connected to it, and you can vacuum up water. And so I was going to use that while they were upstairs just to get that out of the way and everything. And as soon as I plugged it in, like a breaker went out, and like the lights in the basement went out. I don't think any lights went out upstairs. And the lights went out, and I have always been terrified of the basement. And it's just like, it's kind of like my room, where there's nothing specific aside from this event that like really happened. I've just always been like had like weird feelings down here, and part of it is like unfinished. And so like, say you're doing laundry, you can look to your left and right, and like it's just pitch blackness. And so aside from like that area in the laundry room, everything else is like black, and like it's just creepy. Okay, so anyway, they were upstairs, and I was downstairs by myself, and the lights went out, and there was water on the floor. So I was like, well, I'm not gonna try to get to the stairs and go upstairs and like slip and break my neck, whatever. And so I stayed where I was, but I was like yelling and calling for them. And probably like within the span of like 60 seconds, I just like felt like I was surrounded by like whispering and things touching me, and it was freaking me out, and I didn't like it. And straight up, like, I don't even know what I would call it. It was just like this like anxiety meltdown. And I was crying and screaming, and it was just, they were like, girl, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, they didn't know what was going on. And it's just so weird. It's just a weird place. And like, I don't know if my house is consistently haunted. Like, I kind of feel like it is, because like when there's like the slow periods, you hear like the noises, whatever, and then like it acts up more and like more creepy stuff happens. It's like more severe. But like, I don't know. It's weird. What's your story?
Well, I feel like part of it is kind of like because you're so sensitive to it, and you have been since you were really little, and you didn't even understand like what like ghosts and stuff were. Do you feel like possibly that kind of like attracts it sometimes?
Probably. And like kind of just like what's weird is just it's like such a consistent thing. And like, okay, the first friend I told you guys about that I stayed over and just had like a weird feeling for no reason, she didn't believe in ghosts. She never had problems. She never experienced anything. But every time I was there was just like this feeling of like dread and like I should be scared about something. And I just like, it was just weird. But like only at night. I was fine throughout the day. That's why I like to go over there. I don't know, it's just weird. Weird.
Is that good soap to cut?
Yeah.
I can go back to like the staying at friends' houses ones.
That sounds good. Sorry, that's just the chair and I needed to adjust.
So one time I was staying at a friend's house.
What?
I don't know, it's just like kind of uncomfortable to say or whatever. So I was like at their house, and we were laying down, and they had like 2 twin beds in that room, but they only slept in the one. Like they didn't share that room with anybody. They just had the other one for like if they had friends over and stuff. And so I was in the other bed, and they had already fallen asleep. I was still laying there. I didn't feel uncomfortable or anything that I can remember. I just was having trouble sleeping, and then all of a sudden I felt something like blow on my face. Like it felt like something blew on my face. Like, and there wasn't any windows open, there wasn't anything like that. It felt like if I was to go up into Jelly's face right now and like make my lips like a circle and like it felt like that. And I totally jolted up, and I was like, what the fuck? I was like scared. So like I went over to my friend's bed, and like they were like, what's wrong? And I told them, and they were like, oh, that's just like my grandpa, like, or whatever. I was just like, what the heck? Like, eventually I was able to get to sleep, but it was just so weird.
You had other experiences at that house.
There was the one time, well, it was not really like a story, but we were downstairs, and they had their living room, and then there was like a little hallway down to their like kitchen and stuff. There's stairs to go up the stairs, and then there was the front door, and then there was like just one actual door that went anywhere else into the house. And we were just sitting there talking, and we both looked over at the same time, and that door just like swung closed and shut. And like I said, no air moving, no windows or anything. So we were like, what the fuck? But neither of those things felt scary. They just felt weird. Like I didn't have a bad energy. Like I don't know how to describe it.
I think aside from any stories you have, I think I only have one more.
Go ahead and tell it.
This is actually my mom's story that I asked her if it would be chill if like I talked about it, because it's probably like the most severe thing that's ever happened in our house. like our house, and I've always lived in the same house since I was like born. So this story, and I'll just kind of like read my note because I don't want to forget anything. My mom, I think my dad was on a trip or something, and my mom, she was, can you turn it down please? She was asleep, like dead asleep, and she thought I came into her room, and like say she's on the right side of the bed, like okay, say this is the bed, and she's laying here. There's my mom. She's laying here. She felt like I like crawled over her and got into bed beside her, okay? But she said I didn't weigh anything, and that when she looked over, nothing was there. And so that was the first weird thing that happened, but for whatever reason, this bitch decided to go back to sleep. And, let me just kind of...
Falls asleep.
Yeah, and so, not, like, shortly after that, she heard Ben crying. This was when we still had Ben. And he, like, jumped up on the side of the bed with his, like, paws. And I remember, like, she told me about this, and she said that, like, she pet him and then, like, told him to go away. But when she looked over, like, nothing was there. So she literally felt him, which is just fucking weird. And he wasn't there. So, like, what? And then after that, he wasn't there, so she told him to go away. And then she felt something, like, pulling on the blankets at the end of her bed. And she kept, like, pulling them back.
She sleeps like a rock, by the way.
Yeah, it is impossible to wake her up. We'll be like, Mom, you wanted to run errands, Mom. And, like, we're shoving her. And she doesn't wake up until, like, after, like, a few minutes and, like, multiple tries. And so, she felt something, like, pulling on her blanket. And then she kept pulling it back up to her. And all of a sudden, like, it felt like someone had, like, raised the blankets and then pulled them down, because she sat up and air was just all underneath the blankets, and she had to, like, pat it down and, like, push it out. And she gets up and she goes on Facebook, and this is when we still had our computer, and she got on Facebook on our computer, and
which was in her room.
Yeah, the computer was, the desk and everything was in her room. So she was in there on, like, Facebook, and she was getting pissed off because, those are her words, she was getting pissed off because she felt like something was, like, watching her. And so she, that's when she got up and saged the house. Not the first multiple things that happened, some demon dog jumping on the side of her bed that she felt and then couldn't see. Like, all these just random things. And everything she described, like, okay, maybe she didn't look in time. She felt him jump, like, up on the bed and, like, put his paws on her. But, like with me, there was no weight to it. And it's just, like, that's suspicious. And that's kind of like, I don't know if you guys get into the lore per se of, like, spirits and stuff, but that day she brought home these antique salt and pepper shakers, and my dad and Moon didn't touch them. They didn't want to, they just didn't care that much, but I held them, and, like, our dog, I think, like, sniffed them, whatever. And
she, like, held it down to him, like, to show him, like, hey, look, I got this. Like, it was,
yeah. And so certain, like, spirits or entities or energies can get attached to objects. I truly believe that. And so she brought those antique things home that day, and that's the night that everything was freaking weird, and she had to sage our house. And so, yeah, I don't know. I want you guys' opinions on this, and if you guys have ghost stories, please tell us in the comments. Like, I'm very interested. I'm trying to think of some other stuff, because, like, most of it is just, like, feelings or seeing things out of the corner of your eye that are, like, impossible. Like, just when I get up in the middle of the night for whatever reason, or, like, if I'm up late, I need to have a lot of lights on because I'm not about to see shadow people. And it's just...
What about the cat?
Oh, one time when we were actually down here filming, Moon was filming, and I was in the chair. We have two like office desk chairs here, and I was in the chair beside her, like to her right, and all of a sudden, like this white cat like jumps over the cord that we have like our stuff plugged into, like an extension cord, and like jumps towards me, and I see it, but then it's just gone, and like I gasped, I think, and I was just like, what the fuck? And she looked at me like, what's your problem? But like we didn't talk about it until like she was finished filming that one thing, and then I told her what happened. I was just like, but like again, that was just like a little white cat. That didn't bother me. Like, hey, what do you want? Like, it's nice to see you and everything, but it's weird. And then didn't you have like a similar thing?
Yes. Okay, so sometimes our cat likes to come downstairs with us while we're filming, but he's orange, so
Yeah.
if I see kind of like something moving around that kind of slinks like a cat, I usually don't think a lot about it because I just assume it's him. But we try to lock the door behind, not lock the door, we close the door behind us when we go downstairs because he likes to come down here while we're filming and meow, and it's annoying. So we were down here, and I was sitting to the right, so like the chair that I'm in right now, that's not directly in front of the filming thing, while she was doing her stuff. And I'm trying to explain this, it's kind of hard if you're not where I am to explain, but I saw a white cat, okay, it came up on my left side between where the two of us would be, and it just kind of like was standing there and it looked up at me. But I wasn't thinking, and I wasn't looking at it straight on because I just assumed it was my cat because it moved like my cat. So I kind of saw it out of the corner of my eye, and then like I turned my head and I looked down, and like as soon as my eyes made like direct contact of where it would have been, it just like disappeared. But I know for sure it was cat. Like the shape, the ears, the tail, the size. I'd say like a female cat. It was kind of smaller than our cat.
Yeah, like dainty.
Yeah, it was really pretty, and I didn't get like a bad vibe. I just was like, well, that's fucking weird.
Yeah.
And another time I've been sitting over here, and I kind of felt like I saw something moving over to the right, closer to like where the stairs and stuff is, but I wasn't sure, so I didn't say anything about it. But that doesn't give me like a bad feeling, because sometimes when you experience this stuff, you have a really bad, sickening feeling, and then other times you're like, just kind of like, well, that was a thing.
Yeah, so like, I don't know, I feel like we might have seen the same cat, which, you know, if there's like a cat in our basement, like, I hope like you're having a good time. I mean, if you're nice and you're not
Don't be
like
inviting things.
Yeah, I'm not inviting anything. That's like something else important. If you guys want me to kind of like delve into like things I've learned or like things I know about that sort of thing, just in general, even if something seems nice, don't invite it into your house. Like the story of Annabelle, which you guys should probably know from The Conjuring, like they had this doll that kept doing weird shit, and they consulted somebody and they said it was like a little girl, whatever, but they invited it into their house and it was a demon. And stuff like that, like, I think can actually happen because a lot of paranormal investigators and stuff will say like a demon will disguise itself as like a child or like a defenseless animal to gain your trust. And so you guys might think I sound completely crazy, but just don't invite anything to your house, even if it seems nice, is what I'm getting at. Don't play with Ouija boards because a lot of people don't know how to close them correctly, and in general that's just a bad idea because things will claim to be your loved one or whatever else and they're not, and they have bad intentions, and because you think you're talking to someone that you aren't, it's just not a good idea. Just don't do dumb stuff, okay? Just now, I literally went to look at her and I saw a cat-like shape over there. So
I see its like tail like flick around. Does that
or
make
like
sense?
its butt or something.
Wait, where did you see it?
Like over like by the baby pool.
We have a baby pool in our basement because we have guinea pigs.
And they like to run around in it. We don't put water in there with them.
We put towels down so that they don't slip and they just kind of like run around. It's kind of like floor time, but like more safe in our opinion.
Yeah, because we have like dogs and cats, and so we can just monitor them better and everything. So there's a baby pool over there, and when I went to like look over to talk to her or whatever, or like just in general talking to the rim, like I saw, it looked like it jumped out of the baby pool.
I'm sure.
So you guys are experiencing it with us. However, this time, maybe it's just because we're talking about cats and I'm thinking about our cat, but it was orange. So, and Louie's not down here with us. Me. Do you have any other stories? I think that's all that I have in my notes.
Are you done cutting?
Yeah.
Not like that. Are you done cutting up your soap?
Yeah.
Then I guess we can leave it off here. What do you think?
Yeah, if you guys ever want an update, if anything else like actually happens or if I remember anything else, I'll put it in the notes. But if you guys want an update to this, of course I'd be open to do that.
I don't know, I kind of feel like I like in some ways like don't even want to upload this because I don't want to like be told in the comments like, oh, like you're stupid, you're just making this all up, because like obviously we're not making it up for views and stuff because this is like a soap cutting video, and like when we do soap cutting videos we kind of just talk about random stuff.
And this is something like Corinne, I've talked to a lot about the idea of this video, and she's been really excited for it. And like obviously you guys don't have to watch the video, you don't have to believe anything we're saying. It's been 42 minutes, so I mean if you didn't want to see it, then you don't have to. You can click off.
And if I didn't want to see it, they're probably not still here, so
yeah, but don't leave me hate comments because I'll delete them.
I don't know, I just feel like some people are more sensitive to it than other people.
Yeah.
And I can just tell by being your sister and like your older sister and seeing you like grow up. I just know that some of this stuff is stuff that you've been talking about since, you know, before.
Did you hear that?
Did you see? Oh, this in the song. Oh my fucking god!
Oh my god! Jesus!
We both just jumped so bad.
Jesus, I don't know if you guys heard that on camera, but it was like a meow, and it was
Okay,
in the song.
I'm playing Sally's song. I don't know if you can see that. And like it's the part where the cat jumped up in her arm. I almost lost it and bolted up the stairs.
Would have died. I would have died. Okay, I don't even remember what we were saying.
I'm scared now.
About a cat.
I don't know.
Also, it's kind of sketchy because, like, I watch people like Loie Lane or whatever, and she says a lot that after she uploads, like, a paranormal update, a lot more stuff happens. So I'm just
Wait,
like...
be quiet. Okay, that's just the sound of the pipes. Oh my god, I'm totally...
You're freaking me out.
skittish now.
She's like, oh, more stuff happens after I talk about it or upload it. So... who knows? Maybe there will be an update soon. I'm not gonna make this into a paranormal thing. I don't want these things to happen. It's like something I've been sensitive to since I was younger, and most of the time I hate it. So, yeah. But if there are more stories and you guys want to hear it, I'll consider it.
I'm scared now, so we gotta go.
Yeah, we'll see you guys later. I hope you guys enjoyed this. 45 minutes later, I hope that you enjoyed it, and we love you, and please tell us your
stories.
Yeah, tell us your stories in the comments, or if you would rather DM us, of course, go ahead. We love you.